don't know much about that whole. I want to look into the whole like time slip, slips in time, because there's actually a lot of stories out there, people having experiences where all of a sudden they've lost a day, they've lost like 10 hours, and they're back in this they know stuff has happened. So I don't know much about that other than I want to look into it more.
I do that all the time. Come home from work. How was your day?
Work mode. So what I heard about it, just real quick, I see if I can remember, but... So I told you there was this guy his dad worked for. This was way back in the 60s or 70s, something like that. Didn't everything creepy happened in the 70s?
The 70s was...
That was a wild time.
Weird.
Yeah. It's like all these serial killers that come out of the 70s, and that's when horror movies kind of took a next step into...
That's when rock and roll started to get good.
Rock and roll.
When AC/DC and Led Zeppelin were just killing it.
70s were interesting for sure. Anyway, so this guy his dad worked for the government. He was really intelligent, and he was, I don't know the whole story, but it was confidential where he was working, classified type stuff. You know what I mean? But anyways, come to find that his dad was doing this project where they can, so it was teleportation type of a thing. So it's they could teleport them, but could they also teleport them back in time? I think yes. So he could teleport them from wherever to New Mexico or whatever, across the country or anywhere, and then they could also send them back in time, was the whole basis of this project. So it was they could go back and get information from historical figures in the past, and then also jump ahead and be able to tip off, or reverse that, tip off the ones in the past and then get information from the ones in the future. So anyways, before this was a thing, but I guess they needed people to experiment on, and originally they experimented on adults, but the teleportation portal
kept messing up their atoms.
Yeah, it the adults would come back in pieces, body parts, just all over the place, because it would it breaks you down into atoms, okay, teleportation, and then it sends you back through the portal, and then you're rebuilt. And adults would just get obliterated or whatever if they tried to send an adult. So they started experimenting, classified on children.
What timeout? Is this... You're joking.
I don't know. That's what this guy said. This guy is has come out, and he's kind of a loon, I think. I don't know.
I've heard a similar interview on a different podcast, and he definitely sounds like a loon.
Yeah.
He talked about...
LSD was popular
in the 70s.
Okay.
Drugs were big in the 70s.
Talked about having a base on the moon, base on Mars that humans already colonized, and he brought on a guy that was a sergeant major general or something in the Space Force to that takes care of Mars or something.
Yeah. Well, the funny one was, I was telling Josh, he said they were because they were able to go back and forth into the future, so they were able to see who future presidents were, and so they went back and they got presidents from when they were younger and were recruiting them to train them. So they went and got young Obama. And this guy and young Obama got teleported to Mars, where they were on this Mars mission or something, together training to be presidents. And this guy says he's going to be president, even by the next few elections or something.
Yeah.
Maybe this is what the problem with U.S. politics are. We're doing Martian politics.
Martian politics.
No, I'm really glad. So there's this thing there's this thing on the moon you were talking about. What'd you say was on the moon?
A base.
There's a base. So what if Neil Armstrong landed on the moon and he saw his future self?
He quantum jumped.
What if he actually quantum jumped there, and it was him, his self, but the trailer park Neil Armstrong flipping hamburgers on the moon. Hey, I knew you were going to be here. Hey, look. See how slow it lands back on the grill after I flip it? Hey, they're ready. Get yourself a bun.
Trailer park.
It's like one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. Holy crap. What in the world are we talking about?
Where we went down the rabbit hole.
Those are the things that are popular nowadays.
Yeah.
So this...
So people are listening to.
Okay.
You kids listening to that rap again?
They wouldn't act like this if you wouldn't let them listen to rap music. It's the rap music, I tell you. Okay, let's go back to the atoms.
Yeah.
And getting obliterated. What in the...
It's like...
What's on the death certificate? Obliterated during quantum jumping.
That quantum jumping in this is different. They're different.
I like the word quantum. It was like obliterated during quantum jumping. Well, I didn't know he did track and field.
A terrible quantum jumping accident.
Terrible quantum jumping.
Is that the one with the pole?
When Trump quantum jumped,
Yeah.
we gotta ask him about this.
Oh, he knows it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or maybe he doesn't like the Martian politics.
Well, he wants to get the Space Force going. So maybe
there is truth. Space Army.
The Space Force. Be like Star Wars
Of
out
course,
there.
maybe that's why his skin's kind of orange. Mars is orange.
There's a theory that he's like really a lizard person.
Yeah.
That's a whole nother thing.
There's one that Obama was a lizard person too.
Yeah.
And we could go down huge
all these world leaders are really lizard people.
Future podcast, the lizard people.
The lizard people.
Squad for souls.
It's funny because a lot of these podcasts are like actually doing like research, and we're just like throwing things out there.
We're just looking up these other people's research.
Other people.
That's on
Isn't
the
that just
internet.
all research is?
Who was the first person to write quantum jumping down?
Probably this guy.
This guy.
I'm on Project Pegasus. That's what it was called.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
This is hilarious.
Read it.
All right, here we go. Project Pegasus is a United States black project under the Air Force Space Command that has achieved successful organic teleportations to the moon and more notably Mars. Its success was branched into time travel. Moreover, it also made leaps into mind control. Learn how to prevent being a big victim here. All right. They have also been known to have connections with secret societies like the Illuminati. Learn more about secret societies here. The history. In 1947, teleportation research and development was formed by members of the Manhattan Project, the imported Germans under Operation Paperclip, who were enrolled as War Department special employees. In 1958, Dwight D. Eisenhower administration, with Richard Nixon as vice president, established both NASA and DARPA in the interests of national security. All projects under the newly formed DARPA were marked classifieds in contrast to NASA. Any achievements made by DARPA would not be known. Neither would be known by all branches of the United States government, a symptom of big government.
So that's where like the sliver of truth comes in, is that was actually done by the president for this project, whatever it was.
Yeah, it sounds like it. As rocket research designs were being absorbed into NASA, teleportation research designs from the Manhattan/Paperclip teams were absorbed into the Umbrella Project. Under the Air Force, by 1961, NASA, in concert with the Air Force, were conducting rocket flight tests for the Apollo program after the Kennedy assassination. The Lyndon B. Johnson administration took office and the Air Force launched Project Pegasus. It conducted teleportation jump tests that led to a successful teleportation event in 1964. In 1965, NASA experienced major setbacks in the Apollo program, requiring the attention of a Tiger team while the Pegasus program took flight. Under the Richard Nixon administration, the Pegasus program resulted in numerous successful human teleportations, which subsequently led to time travel in 1970. The pursuit of time travel became of clear interest, so they avert the threat of a nuclear holocaust. that was posed during the Cold War with the Soviet Union. 140 children were used in experimental jumps to Mars along with time travel tests. They typically sent children because of design limitations that made it difficult for adults to jump. Any adults that actually managed the jumps, despite the limitations, suffered physiological trauma. Children seemed to adapt better to these jumps. However, the jumps were not always safe, as one child returned from his temporal voyage before his legs. Alfred Weaver reports he was writhing in pain with just stumps where his legs had been. Washington-based attorney Andrew Basiago, that's the guy who said he was going to be president, and who I heard on that interview. A former child jumper claims the future presidents, like both Bush's, Clinton, and Barack Obama, were all children involved in the experience. Basiago claims that he was sent to several famous events in history, like the Gettysburg Address, and that he and some of the other children even met George Washington.
So, like, they actually traveled back in time?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
A little bit on Project Pegasus.
Project Pegasus. If anyone knows more about Project Pegasus, let us know.
Yeah, please leave this in the comments section. I swear none of us have ever smoked weed.
Or anything else. That would bring about.
Oh, dear. Let's get a hold of George W. Bush.
Debbie.
George W.
Yeah, maybe he'll tell us all about it.
Hey, kids, grab a beer.
Grab a beer, sit down, let me tell you all about this.
Well, I think we're wrapping up here with our first couple episodes.
Yeah.
If you guys like them, let us know what you think. Let us know what you think about all of our nonsense, or maybe it's not nonsense. Maybe it's all true.
If you have any input or anything you would like to have us talk about, then let us know. Yeah, that'd be awesome. Furthermore, we're wrapping in the Black-Eyed Children with the Pegasus Project.
All right, so here's our theory. So the Black-Eyed Kids are the kids from the Pegasus Project that got stuck. You know, they're talking about, like, they're wearing out-of-dated clothes. Like, they got stuck in the Pegasus, or maybe they're, like, some of them are, like, bad, so this is their way of punishing them.
Yeah, I think it makes sense.
And they knock on the door, and it's like their eyes are black because they've, like, lost their minds. They knock on the door saying,
they've jumped through time and space.
Like, let me in. But it's not saying, they're not saying, let me in like I'm going to kill you. It's like, let me in and tell me what the heck has happened.
Where am I?
But we go, why are your eyes black?
I can't see. The time jump blinded me.
I am blinded from the jump.
But what if that is actually the truth?
What if?
What are the odds?
What are the odds?
Well, hope you enjoy our theory.
That's our theory. Good night.